That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about The Grudge.
Which is a...
Oh, well, first it's opening the first weekend of the year, January 3rd, 2020.
Okay.
Courtesy of Sony. Usually that's not a good indication, that time slot.
I didn't see this movie, you did.
Yeah, you couldn't make it.
I couldn't be bothered. No. I shouldn't say that. Although, okay, so this is based on a Japanese film series.
Okay, so yeah, this is, I would say, is one of the seminal cornerstones of the J-horror craze from the mid-2000s.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
But Takashi Shimizu's 2002 film Ju-on, The Grudge, he remade himself, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh, the person who made the Japanese version remade the English language one?
He did, yeah.
Oh.
And he also did Grudge 2. But
I
he
didn't
did
know
not.
that.
But he did not do Grudge 3, which was...
So the remake of The Grudge, or The Grudge, the first one was in 2003.
2004.
2004 with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
And then 2006 sequel, a 2009 third chapter. And then I think this has been kind of in developmental hell because they wanted to make a fourth one, and then the studio decided to reboot it. So that's why we have what we have.
So what you just saw is the 2020 reboot.
Yeah.
So that means that it's like lives in a world where the other three didn't?
Correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what is it about?
So it takes place across 2004 to 2006.
Oh, okay.
And it starts in 2004 Tokyo, and
that was a good time for boy bands.
Was it? Weren't they kind of out by then?
Were they? Whatever. Go ahead.
Anyway, it starts out this lady in Tokyo picks up so the grudge, the curse is when somebody dies in a rage. We're told this at the beginning of the film.
That'll be me. Go ahead.
A curse is born.
Okay.
And then so as you all know, if you have seen any of the other previous Grudge films, it's boiled down about a house that this cursed spirit is residing within, so anybody that comes within the house is infected by it, basically. So 2004 Tokyo, this lady picks up the curse, goes back home to, it seems like anywhere USA. It was actually filmed in Manitoba. And then a series of things happen to all the people that were in it. So we fast forward to 2006, Andrea Riseborough is a police detective, and she's just gotten back to work, single mom. Her husband died of cancer 3 months ago. She has a new partner played by Demián Bichir, the Oscar-nominated actor. And they immediately find a body. It's actually Jackie Weaver's decomposed body that's been like decomposing for months. They try to find out why. She was a euthanasia assistant, and she's connected to these murders that happened in this house. And Demián Bichir is like, I won't go in that house because my previous partner became obsessed with that investigation and went crazy. She goes into the house and discovers Lynn Shaye with her fingers bitten off and acting cuckoo, and her dead husband, Frankie Faison, like rotting on the floor. And then because she went in the house, this spirit starts chasing her, and she's got to put all the puzzle pieces together. Meanwhile, we also have another backstory where John Cho's and his pregnant wife, he's the realtor, tried to sell the house, and he becomes also...
There's a shower scene with him.
In this film?
I watched the trailer. There's a shower scene with him. It looks pretty good. You don't recall him?
I don't recall the shower scene.
Oh, the trailer is deceptive.
Maybe that didn't make it. He gets his head stuck in a bloody bath.
He's in the shower, he hears a noise, he peeks out of the shower, comes back in, and then you see him.
That's right, that is in the trailer.
That wasn't in the film. So they catfished us with John Cho's
Unless
torso.
I might have blinked that out though.
Uh-oh.
Anyhow.
This is what happens when I don't watch the movie.
Yeah.
So The Grudge, the original English language version, that's the film that we all recognize the image of the girl coming out of the TV with the...
That's The Ring.
Oh, so I really don't know the Grudge.
Yeah, so the Ring, and the Ring is actually, I think, what started the J-horror craze.
Okay.
Which is a remake of the Hideo Nakata Ringu. And I think... I think that Nakata got to come to America to do The Ring 2 with Naomi Watts. But the original Ring, the original remake is 2002, directed by Gore Verbinski, and that's where...
So The Ring was bigger than The Grudge?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was also first. And then there was also Dark Water, which is a Hideo Nakata film, and then Jennifer Connelly was in the US remake.
Great. Not to be confused with Dark Waters.
The Todd Haynes film.
Starring Mark Ruffalo.
That's correct.
Which I also didn't like. But, so it sounds like this film...
Okay, so it's directed by Nicolas Pesce.
Okay, what is he known for?
He is part of the Borderline film crew that's composed of like Antonio Campos and Josh Mond and Sean Durkin, who do a lot of genre indie films that get a lot of film festival play.
Do I know any of them?
You didn't see Martha Marcy, May Marlene, I don't think. Which
No.
it's quite, I really like that. And Antonio Campos did Simon Killer and After School, and Christine, that one with Rebecca Hall, is the reporter that shoots herself on television.
Okay.
Which all three of those films are really good. Anyhow, Pesce's first film was The Eyes of My Mother in 2016, which was on my best of the year list.
Okay.
Which is very kind of Cronenbergian body horror / David Lynchian weirdness, in black and white. Fucking loved it. And then he did a Murakami adaptation called Piercing in 2018, which I was a little less crazy about, but I think anybody attempting to adapt Murakami is impressive. Like, you never saw Takashi Miike's Audition, which is considered one of the goriest films ever made.
Oh,
anyway.
I should check that out.
So I think he's the first of kind of this...
So I don't know any of his films then?
No.
Oh, okay, that was the question.
But The Grudge seemed kind of like an interesting fit for him based on the body horror. And there are some pretty lurid moments.
Like what?
Like some death sequences and lots of rotting corpses. Anything that had to do with tangible bodies I thought looked great in this film. Anything with the supernatural presence I was a little less crazy about. The cinematography, it's got a nice bruised / jaundiced look to it. The mood is right. The score by the Newton brothers, all of that, the production design, it's from the same production designer that did Martyrs.
Okay.
And worked on Noah's Enter the Void, I think. But everything about the production design, the production value looks great. It's just that the story is so familiar and has served as a template for so many other things that it's kind of... I wasn't thrilled at all.
Sure.
And there's technically 4 different subplots across 3 different years going on, and it's impressive how much he gets in about roughly over 90 minutes, but there's no emotional connection to anyone. Like Riseborough, we should be having an emotional connection to her, and she just looked like, a drowned, harassed rat throughout most of it, with this son that we barely ever see. And the only one that gives me a bang for my buck really is Lynn Shaye, who gets to act goofy and hysterical, and she's got a great death sequence. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what would you give this film?
Out of 5, I'd 2.5.
Oh.
I will say you should, and the expectations would seem to be low, since usually the horror films that get dumped in this theatrical slot are like The Devil Inside. Remember that from a few years ago? The found footage Vatican horror film, and it had that creepy nun on the poster.
Okay.
And you were like, we have to see that. And then it was a terrible, horrible letdown. Or shit like The Last Exorcist 2 or Beyond the Door. There's all these studio flicks that are horror films that get dumped here.
So how much of a ticket price do you think it's worth?
A matinee price. It's definitely worth a matinee price.
Like $10?
$10 is more than is less than a
I don't know what
price.
people pay for movies. Well,
if you go to the ArcLight, it's...
So how much do you think it's worth? $7?
I'd say 12 to 14.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, no, it looks... If you need a horror movie fix in January...
This weekend.
I'd say this... It's definitely worth seeing. If anything, I think this is the type of opportunity for a director like Pesce to go back and see his other superior previous work. And I look forward to seeing what he does. And it's funny because Antonio Campos, I think, was supposed to direct a remake of The Omen. So you see these studios trying to remine the same material that we've seen over and over again with fresh blood. And it does make a difference. Like, the quality is there. It's just that nothing is surprising or thrilling.
Noted. Got it. Understood. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, bye.
Thanks.